Honey, are you comfortable? Good. I was hoping you'd be comfortable tonight. You don't have to do anything at all. Just lie there and listen to me talk. I'll take care of the thinking part. I was thinking about Aunt Linda again today. I don't know why exactly. I think it started when I saw those paper napkins in the drawer, the floral ones she likes. You know the ones. The slightly too colorful ones. That don't really match anything. But she always says they make things feel festive. Even if it's just sandwiches. I love Aunt Linda so much. Honey, I really do. She's one of those people who somehow takes care of everything without making a big deal about it. You know how some people announce when they're helping? Aunt Linda doesn't. She just does it. Quietly, like it's no trouble at all. She takes care of plants like they're tiny emotional beings. She talks to them. Not loudly. Just little updates. Like, alright, you had enough sun today. Or, you look thirsty. And somehow, they listen. Her plants are always thriving. Even the stubborn ones. Even the ones that are basically just sticks in dirt when you buy them. And she's the same with people. She remembers birthdays without writing them down. She notices when someone hasn't eaten much, and casually slides a plate closer. She's the kind of person who says, "Take some home," and actually means it. Even animals adore her. Dogs calm down around her. Cats sit on her lap even if they don't like laps. I once saw a neighbor's rabbit hop straight toward her, like it recognized her soul or something. It was very impressive, and slightly confusing. Anyway, she's retiring soon. I keep forgetting the exact date, so I wrote it down on a sticky note. Then I lost the sticky note. Then I found it stuck to the back of my phone case. I guess that's fine. I was thinking we should probably plan her retirement party. Nothing big. She doesn't like big. She likes things that are calm. Chairs that don't wobble. Music that isn't too loud. Food that everyone recognizes. I was trying to decide if we should do it in the afternoon or early evening. Afternoon feels safer. People are less tired, and no one expects anything fancy. Evening feels like it might accidentally turn into something with speeches, and Aunt Linda hates speeches. I made a list earlier, not a serious list, just a soft list. Like, cake? With a question mark. And balloons maybe? With another question mark? I like using question marks. It makes everything feel optional. I don't want her to feel overwhelmed. I don't want anyone to clap too loudly either. Just gentle happiness. I told myself I'd think about it later. And then I did. All afternoon. You're probably lying there listening, honey. You don't have to pay attention. I'll just keep talking. It's okay if you drift a little. Okay. So, honey, are you snuggled in? I hope you're ready for a real treat tonight, because I'm about to tell you all about my afternoon spent planning every tiny detail for Auntie Linda's retirement party. I know, it doesn't sound thrilling, but that's why it's perfect for you. Just my soft voice, rambling about napkin colors and grocery lists until you drift off, okay? So, I started this afternoon with a cup of tea and my little blue notepad, the one with the bent cover and the sticker of the cat with glasses. I wrote Auntie Linda's retirement party at the top of the page and underlined it with my pink highlighter, which is almost out of ink, but I just can't bring myself to throw it away. First things first, the guest list. Oh, honey, you would not believe how long I spent just writing out names. I started with family, obviously your mom, your Uncle Jim, cousin Becca, and her twins. I had to double check if Becca's new boyfriend was invited, but I couldn't remember his name. So I just wrote +1. Then I added Linda's old coworkers, Marjorie, the one who always brings lemon bars, and Steve, who wears those funny suspenders. I spent at least 15 minutes just thinking about whether to invite Steve's wife, because I can never remember if they're on a break or back together. I finally just wrote Steve, with or without wife, and moved on. After that, I got into the real nitty-gritty. Seating arrangements. I know Auntie Linda likes to sit near the window, so she can look at the bird feeder, but last time she said the draft was too much. I drew a little diagram of the living room, labeled the couch, the armchair, the folding chairs from the garage, and even the ottoman. I tried to remember who has back problems and who likes to sit close to the snacks. I whispered to myself, Becca on the couch, Jim by the lamp, snacks on the coffee table. Oh, but not too close to the lamp, because last year, someone knocked over the salsa. Then came the menu. Linda doesn't like spicy food, so I crossed off jalapeno poppers right away. I made a whole list of safe foods: deviled eggs, cucumber sandwiches, cheese cubes, and those little crackers that come in the shape of flowers. I debated whether to make a fruit salad or just buy one pre-made. I spent 5 minutes picturing each fruit: melon, grapes, strawberries, and that one time I accidentally bought persimmons instead of peaches. I still remember how confused everyone looked, trying to figure out what to do with a persimmon. I wrote a little note: no persimmons. Drinks were next. I whispered through the options: lemonade, iced tea, maybe a punch bowl with floating orange slices. I remembered Linda doesn't like seeds in her lemonade, so I added strain the lemonade to my to-do list. I thought about getting those tiny cocktail umbrellas, but then I remembered last year someone tried to eat one by mistake. I wrote no cocktail umbrellas in big letters. Then it was time for decorations. I opened the craft drawer, yes, the one that never closes all the way, because of the tangle of yarn and ribbon. I pulled out everything that looked remotely festive: pastel streamers, tissue paper flowers, and a half-used roll of gold star stickers. I spent a long time trying to decide between pink or yellow napkins. Pink felt festive, but yellow matches Linda's favorite mug. I even held the napkins up to the living room lamp to see which color looked better in the light. I finally decided on yellow, but only after whispering to myself, yellow is sunshine, pink is fun, but Linda likes tea in the sunshine. I looked at my list and realized I'd forgotten about music. I spent at least 10 minutes scrolling through playlists, but everything felt too party, not enough retirement. I ended up making a playlist called Linda's Big Day, full of soft jazz, gentle piano, and that one Enya song she likes. I whispered through each song title, just to make sure it sounded right. By the time I finished, the sun was setting, and I still hadn't decided what to wear. I opened the closet, looked at every cardigan, and wondered which one would best say supportive, but not stealing the spotlight. Maybe the lavender one? Or the blue one with the little polka dots? I tried both on, and looked in the mirror, whispering, lavender for calm, blue for cheer, maybe both? So that was just the first half of my party planning. Honey, I know it all sounds so tiny and detailed, but that's what makes it nice and boring, right? Next, I'll tell you how I went through the pantry, checking expiration dates on every box of crackers, just to make sure everything's perfect for Auntie Linda. Hey honey, are you feeling sleepy yet? I hope you're cozy, because I have a really quiet, calm story for you tonight. I want to tell you about how I spent almost my whole afternoon getting ready for Auntie Linda's retirement party. I know it sounds boring, but that's what makes it good for bedtime, right? just listening to my voice, talking about nothing important, so you can rest and not think about your own day for a while. So, I started my afternoon at the kitchen table with my favorite mug of tea and my blue notebook. Not the small notebook, but the big one with the soft cover. It has a sticker on the front of a little cat, the one that looks like it's wearing glasses. I used my favorite pen, the one that writes in blue ink. I like blue because it looks friendly, but not too serious. At the very top of the page, I wrote, Auntie Linda's retirement party. I underlined it 3 times, just to make it look special. I even drew a small heart in the corner. Then I started thinking about the guest list. Who should be invited? I know Auntie Linda would want everyone to feel welcome, so I tried to remember every person who should be there. First, I wrote down all the family. There's your mom, of course. She always brings those sweet rolls that everyone likes. Then there's your Uncle Jim. He always makes loud jokes and wears his old sweater with the funny buttons. There's Cousin Becca too, and her twins, who are so full of energy. I had to remember Becca's boyfriend. I could not remember his name, so I just wrote Becca's friend. I hope she brings him, but if not, that's okay. I also added Uncle Jim's neighbor, because he sometimes comes to family things. Next, I thought about Auntie Linda's friends from work. She talks about Marjorie a lot. Marjorie is the one who bakes lemon cake and always brings extra for everyone. There's also Steve. Steve is known for his bright suspenders. Sometimes he laughs too loud, but it's a happy kind of laugh. I tried to remember if Steve's wife is coming. Sometimes she comes, sometimes she doesn't. I wrote, Steve and maybe wife. After writing down the main names, I started thinking about the kids. There are a few kids who always come to family parties. I wrote down their names, even though some of them are really just babies and probably won't remember the party. Still, it's nice to include them. I also added a line for +1s. You never know who might bring a friend or a date. Once I finished, I read the list out loud to myself, just a whisper, so I wouldn't forget anyone. Then I added a few more people. Auntie Linda's neighbor, Mrs. Green, is very nice, and she sometimes brings her small dog. I wrote, Mrs. Green, and maybe dog. I hope the dog doesn't bark too much. Then I moved on to thinking about how everyone would sit. I know Auntie Linda likes to sit near the window, but not too close because sometimes there's a cold breeze. I drew a picture of the living room in my notebook. I made little boxes for the sofa, the chairs, and the small table. I had to remember to leave room for the food, so I drew a big rectangle for the snack table. I tried to guess who would want to be near the snacks. Probably your Uncle Jim. He always gets up for seconds as soon as the food is out. I thought about where to put the kids. Maybe on the rug, where they can play with their toys. I wrote, kids' toys on rug. I even made a list of which toys to bring out, like the blocks and the puzzle. Then I started to think about what food to serve. I know Auntie Linda likes simple food, nothing spicy. So, I wrote, no spicy food at the top of the food list. I thought about making deviled eggs. Auntie Linda always says they are her favorite. I put deviled eggs in big letters. I also wrote cheese cubes, crackers, cucumber sandwiches, and grapes. I thought about making a salad, but sometimes people don't eat salad at parties. I wrote, maybe salad with a question mark. I had to think about drinks too. Lemonade is always good. I wrote lemonade and iced tea. I know Auntie Linda likes her tea cold, not hot, so I made sure to write iced. I thought about making punch, but last time we had punch, someone spilled it on the carpet. I wrote punch, careful, just to remind myself. Then I started a new page for decorations. I opened the drawer with all the party things. Streamers, balloons, some leftover napkins from the last birthday. I found some yellow napkins and some pink ones. I could not decide which color to use, so I laid them both on the table and looked at them for a long time. Yellow feels sunny and happy, but pink is soft and cheerful. I whispered, yellow or pink, yellow or pink, over and over, trying to decide. In the end, I thought maybe both would be nice. I also found a roll of stickers shaped like stars. I thought maybe I could put one on each napkin, just to make them look special. I wrote, stickers on napkins. After a while, I remembered music. I want there to be music, but not too loud. I made a list of songs Auntie Linda likes. Soft songs, nothing fast. I remembered she likes piano music, and she likes that one song that sounds like water. I wrote, make soft music playlist. I also had to think about what I would wear. I opened my closet and looked at all my sweaters. Should I wear the blue one with the little buttons? Or the soft gray one? I tried both on and looked in the mirror. I even took a picture and sent it to myself, just to see. In the end, I put them both back and thought, I'll decide later. By the time I finished, I had 3 pages of notes. One for guests, one for food and drinks, and one for decorations and music. I felt a little tired, but also happy. It felt good to have a plan, even if it was just for something as small as a family party. Before I got up, I whispered my lists out loud, just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Then I put the notebook away and thought, tomorrow, I'll check the pantry and see what food we already have. But that's a story for another time. Honey? So, that was the first part of my afternoon, just me, my notebook, and a lot of thinking about Auntie Linda's party. Nothing too exciting, but just right for getting sleepy. I'll tell you even more next time. Honey, are you still awake? If you're not, that's okay. You can keep listening or just drift off. I wanted to tell you about what I did after making my long list for Auntie Linda's party. I hope you don't mind a little more about snacks and cupboards, because this part is all about checking the pantry, the fridge, and making sure we have just the right food and supplies for everyone. So, after I finished my guest list and made my notes about music and napkins, I took a deep breath and stood in front of the pantry. I opened the door slowly, like I was looking into a secret cave. There were so many boxes and bags, all stacked up and squeezed together. First, I saw 3 different boxes of crackers. One box was almost empty. I picked it up and shook it gently. I could hear just a few crackers rattling around. I opened the top and counted them. Only 5 crackers left, and 2 of them were broken. I put that box to the side and thought, maybe I can use the broken ones for soup. Then I checked the next box. This one was a little heavier. I looked for the date on the bottom. I always have to squint to read those little numbers. This one said it was good until next year, so I wrote good crackers on my list. The third box was a brand I didn't remember buying. The box was bright orange, but the crackers inside looked a little pale. I opened it and took a tiny bite. It tasted okay, but not great. I put them in the maybe pile. I whispered, good, maybe, soup, as I lined them up in a row. After the crackers, I moved on to chips. I found 1 bag of plain chips and 1 bag of wavy chips. The plain ones were almost all crumbs, so I wrote buy more chips. The wavy chips felt fresh, so I wrote okay next to them. I also found a bag of pretzel sticks, but the bag was open and tied shut with a rubber band. I took one out and tasted it. Still good. I wrote pretzels okay on my paper. Then, I looked for cookies. There was a box of shortbread cookies way in the back. I had to move a jar of peanut butter and a bag of rice just to reach it. The box was dusty, and when I opened it, the cookies were a little crumbled but still smelled sweet. I tried one, and it was just a little soft, but not bad. I put them on the party pile. I also found a package of chocolate cookies, but there were only 3 left. I wrote, "Buy more cookies" in big letters. Next, I checked the nuts. We always have some nuts for parties. I found a can of peanuts, a jar of mixed nuts, and a small bag of almonds. I opened each one and smelled them. The peanuts smelled fresh. The mixed nuts were fine, but I picked out one that looked shriveled and threw it away. The almonds were almost gone, just a handful left. I poured them into a little bowl to see how many there were. Not enough for a party, so I added "buy almonds" to my list. Each time I checked a jar, I shut my eyes for a second and sniffed. If it smelled good, I said good. If it didn't, I said throw away. Then I looked for things to make sandwiches. I checked the bread. We had half a loaf left, but I knew that wouldn't be enough. I squeezed each slice to see if it was fresh. Good for toast, but not for sandwiches. I wrote, "Buy bread" in my notebook. I checked the fridge for cheese. There was a small block of cheddar, a slice of Swiss, and some shredded cheese. I thought about what kind of sandwiches to make. Maybe cheese and cucumber? Or just cheese and butter? I wrote cheese sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches, and maybe egg salad on my food list. After that, I checked the fruit bowl. We had a few grapes, 2 apples, and a banana with a brown spot. So, the cake. I spent way too long thinking about the cake. Chocolate feels safe, but Aunt Linda says chocolate is too rich, even though she always eats it anyway. Vanilla feels polite, but maybe too polite. Like an office cake? Then I thought about lemon, but lemon can be risky. Some people say it's refreshing, and some people say it tastes like cleaning products. I don't want anyone thinking about cleaning products at a party. I stood in the baking aisle for a long time. Honey, just staring. I wasn't even holding a basket. I think someone walked around me twice. Eventually, I decided we don't need to decide yet. That felt like progress. I also thought about whether we should get 1 cake or 2 smaller ones. 2 smaller ones feel friendlier, like they're not trying too hard. But then you need 2 flavors, and that opens up more decisions. I sighed a little, not a dramatic sigh, just a quiet one. I think Aunt Linda would honestly be happy with any cake, as long as someone writes her name correctly. Last year they spelled it Linda, and she didn't say anything, but she definitely noticed. I practiced writing Linda in cursive on a piece of scrap paper when I got home. Just once. Maybe twice. You'd probably laugh at me if you saw that, honey, but in a soft way. You don't need to respond. I like knowing you're there anyway. I don't think Aunt Linda wants decorations, but she also doesn't want no decorations. She likes things that look like someone tried, but not too hard. So I was thinking maybe just a banner. A small one. Not shiny. Maybe paper. Something that says happy retirement, but doesn't yell it. I saw one online that had little leaves on it. Not real leaves. Just drawings of leaves. Very calm leaves. Then I wondered if leaves are too seasonal. But honestly, leaves are always happening somewhere. So that should be fine. I also thought about balloons. But balloons squeak sometimes, and that can be startling. So maybe just 2 balloons. Or even 1. 1 balloon is kind of funny, in a quiet way. I folded some napkins earlier to see how they'd look. I tried the triangle fold, then the rectangle fold. I think the rectangle felt more like Aunt Linda. I put them back in the drawer afterward. They'll probably get wrinkled again anyway. Planning is strange. You think you're doing something important, but mostly you're just moving objects slightly, and then moving them back. It made me a little sleepy. Actually, I thought about making a fruit salad, but I knew I would need more fruit. I wrote, buy grapes, buy apples, and maybe strawberries. I remembered Auntie Linda likes fruit that is easy to eat, so I made a note to cut everything into small pieces. I also looked for drinks. In the fridge, I found a half-full bottle of lemonade and a small carton of orange juice. I poured a tiny bit of each into a glass to taste. The lemonade was still good, but the orange juice tasted a little sour. I wrote buy lemonade and buy juice, just to be safe. I opened the cupboard and counted the tea bags. Plenty of black tea, a few green tea, and just enough chamomile for one teapot. I wrote, buy chamomile tea. While I was looking for cups, I found a stack of paper cups left from last summer. Some had flowers on them, some were plain. I checked each one for cracks. I found 3 that were cracked, so I threw those away and counted the rest. 15 good cups. I wrote, okay cups on my list. I also looked for napkins. There were more pink napkins than yellow ones, so I thought maybe I would use both. After I finished checking all the food, I looked at my list. It was much longer now. I had written, buy crackers, buy chips, buy bread, buy cheese, buy fruit, buy lemonade, buy juice, buy tea, buy cookies, buy nuts, buy cups. I put stars next to the things I needed most, just so I wouldn't forget. Then I thought about the party plates. I found a pack of small plates with gold edges and a pack of big white plates. I counted them out loud. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12. I wrote 12 plates on my list and wondered if I should buy more. Before I closed the pantry, I checked the shelf for extra things, like toothpicks for the cheese cubes. I found a box that was almost empty, so I counted them. Only 10 toothpicks left. I wrote buy toothpicks. I also found a roll of plastic wrap and some foil. I checked how much was left and wrote okay plastic wrap and okay foil. After all that, I closed the pantry and put my list on the fridge with a magnet. I took a step back and looked at the kitchen. I felt good, knowing I had checked everything. It made me feel ready for the next part, shopping for all the things we need. I know it sounds like a lot, honey, but it's just small steps, one after another. Just checking, counting, tasting, and planning. It's not exciting, but it makes everything feel calm and safe. That's how I spent the second part of my day. Just me, the pantry, and my long shopping list for Auntie Linda's retirement party. Honey, are you feeling even cozier now? If you're still awake, I hope you're ready for more gentle rambling, because this part is all about picking out the perfect party favors for Auntie Linda's retirement party. I spent so much time thinking about what would make people smile, but wouldn't be too flashy or hard to carry home. I wanted something simple, sweet, and just a little bit special, even if it's small. I started by making a new list in my blue notebook. At the top, I wrote, party favor ideas. I underlined it 3 times with my blue pen, and I even drew a tiny smiley face next to it. I kept thinking, what would Auntie Linda like? What would make everyone feel happy when they leave the party? I wanted something that would make people remember the day, but not something that would just end up in the back of a drawer. First, I thought about bookmarks. I like bookmarks because everyone needs to mark their page sometimes, even if they don't read a lot. I wrote bookmarks at the top of my idea list. Then I wondered if I should make them by hand or buy them from the store. I pictured bookmarks with flowers, bookmarks with stripes, even ones with little ribbons tied at the top. I thought about using yellow ribbon for the bookmarks because Auntie Linda likes yellow. But then I remembered I only have pink ribbon at home. I whispered, yellow or pink? Yellow or pink? Just like I did with the napkins. I decided to check at the store if they have yellow ribbon, but if not, I'll use pink. After that, I thought about maybe giving out little plants. Small plants in tiny pots are very cute, and people can put them on their windowsill or kitchen counter. I wrote small plants on my list and drew a little pot next to it. I thought about what kind of plants would be best. Maybe succulents? Because they don't need a lot of water. I whispered all the names I could think of. Succulent, cactus, aloe, jade. I wondered if anyone might be allergic to a plant, so I wrote a note to myself, ask about plant allergies. Then I thought about giving out small jars of honey. I remembered last year at a party, someone gave out little honey jars, and everyone liked them. I wrote small honey jars and drew a bee next to it. I smiled because it made me think of you, honey. I thought about tying a ribbon around each jar, maybe with a tiny tag that says, "Thank you for coming." I wrote tags for jars in my notebook. I also thought about candles. Little candles always look nice, and they smell good. I wrote candles on my list, but then I remembered that some people don't like strong smells, and some people don't use candles. I wrote a small question mark next to candles. I thought about maybe using unscented candles, but I wasn't sure if that would be special enough. After writing down all my ideas, I made 3 columns in my notebook. One for things I could make at home, one for things to buy at the store, and one for things to order online. I wrote, bookmarks, make or buy. Plants, buy. Honey jars, buy or order. And candles, buy or order. I looked at my list for a long time, thinking about how much time I had and what would be easiest. I decided to look online for prices. I opened my laptop and searched for party favor bookmarks. There were so many choices. Some had flowers, some had funny sayings, some were just simple. I liked the ones with little hearts, but I worried they might be too small. I wrote down the prices next to each idea, whispering each number to myself as I went. I did the same for small plants and honey jars. After looking at prices, I thought about how to wrap the favors. I have a drawer full of tissue paper in different colors. I pulled out yellow, pink, and white paper, just to see which looked nicest. I folded each piece to see how it would fit around a bookmark or a little plant. I whispered, fold, fold, fold. As I worked, then I tried tying a ribbon around the tissue paper, but the ribbon kept slipping. I thought about maybe using string or those little twist ties from the kitchen. I even went to the kitchen drawer and found a bag of extra twist ties, the kind that come with bread. I tried using one to tie a fake favor, and it worked. I wrote use twist ties in my notebook. After a while, I realized I had been sitting with my tissue paper and ribbons for almost an hour, just trying different ways to wrap a pretend party favor. I smiled at myself, because it was funny to spend so long on something so small, but I wanted it to be just right for Auntie Linda. I also thought about what to write on the little tags. Maybe just, thank you. Or maybe a short message like happy retirement, Auntie Linda. I tried writing both on scrap paper, just to see how it looked. I used my neatest handwriting and a blue pen. I thought about drawing a little heart or star on each tag. Once I finished practicing, I put all my notes together. I decided that bookmarks would be the best for most people. They are easy to make or buy, and everyone can use them. For the kids, I thought maybe a small plant or a honey jar would be fun. I made a list: bookmarks for adults, honey jars, or plants for kids. I closed my notebook and took a deep breath. I felt a little sleepy from all the thinking and planning. It was a good kind of tired, like when you finish a puzzle or fold laundry for a long time. That's how I spent another part of my afternoon. Honey, just thinking, planning, and practicing for Auntie Linda's party. Nothing exciting, but just right for winding down and feeling peaceful. If you're still listening, next I'll tell you about picking the perfect card for Auntie Linda, and how I got lost in the card aisle for what felt like forever. Honey, are you still here with me? If you are, I hope you're feeling even sleepier. If you're already asleep, that's perfectly okay too. I'm going to tell you now about the part of party planning that took me the longest. Even though it sounds like the smallest thing, picking out a card for Auntie Linda, you might not think it takes much time. But you know how I am. I want things to feel just right, even if it means whispering to myself in a store aisle for a long while. So, after I finished my favorite ideas, I made myself a cup of tea and wrote at the top of a fresh page in my notebook, "Find the perfect card." I told myself, this will be easy. Just walk to the store, get a nice card, and come home. But, of course, it wasn't quite that simple. Nothing ever is. Not for me. I put on my softest sweater, the one with the big buttons, and walked to the store. When I got there, I went straight to the cards section. The store had so many cards. There were rows and rows: cards for birthdays, cards for get well soon, cards for weddings, cards for new babies, cards for everything you could ever think of. I kept looking until I found the section for retirement. It was right between congratulations and thank you. I started at the top row and worked my way down. The first card I picked up had shiny letters and a picture of a big fancy chair. It looked nice, but when I opened it, the inside said, "Now you can relax all day." I smiled, but I thought it sounded a little too silly for Auntie Linda. She likes to relax, but she also likes to stay busy. I put that card back and picked up another. This one had a picture of a garden with bright yellow flowers. I liked the flowers, so I read the message inside, whispering the words to myself, "Wishing you happiness in every new day." That sounded better, but not quite special enough. I put that one back, too. I went card by card, picking each one up, opening it slowly, reading the words out loud but in a tiny whisper. Some cards had big letters, some had little letters. Some had funny pictures, like a cat in a hammock or a dog with sunglasses. Some had quiet pictures, like a cup of tea or a book. I tried to imagine Auntie Linda opening each card. Would she laugh? Would she smile? Would she just put it on her shelf and forget about it? I found a card with a picture of a pile of books and a teacup. I thought, that's just like Auntie Linda. She loves tea, and she loves reading. I held it in my hand and opened it. The inside was blank. I stood there, thinking about what to write. Should I write a long message, or just something short and sweet? I looked at the other cards again, but I kept coming back to the one with the books and the teacup. Just to be sure, I picked up a few more cards. One had a gold border and said, "Happy Retirement," in big, bold letters. Another had rainbow balloons and lots of glitter. I touched the glitter with my finger and thought about how it would probably get everywhere. I whispered, maybe not the glitter one. I tried a card with a pop-up flower, but it seemed a little too fancy. I put it back. After what felt like a long time, I decided that the book and teacup card was the best. It was simple, calm, and quiet, just like Auntie Linda. I held on to it and walked over to the pens to pick out one that wouldn't smudge. I tested a few pens on a piece of paper at the store, just drawing lines and tiny hearts. I picked a blue pen because it looked friendly and neat. When I got home, I made myself sit at the table with the card, the pen, and a small piece of scrap paper. I wanted to practice what I would write. I started with Dear Auntie Linda, and then tried a few sentences. Happy retirement. I hope you enjoy every quiet day with a good book and a warm cup of tea. Then I tried, congratulations. You worked so hard. Now it's time to rest and do all the things you love. I kept rewriting the message until it felt just right. When it was time to write in the real card, I wrote slowly and carefully, trying not to make any mistakes. I let each line dry before I wrote the next one, just to be sure the ink wouldn't smudge. I added a small heart at the end and signed my name with a little smiley face. I sat back and read what I wrote, whispering every word. I felt happy with it. I put the card in the envelope and sealed it. I looked for a sticker to close the flap and found a gold star in my desk drawer. I pressed it on and smiled. I put the card with the other party things right next to the napkins and the party favors. That's how I spent the next slow part of my day. Honey, I know it's just a card, but sometimes the smallest things take the most time. I wanted it to be special for Auntie Linda, and it made me feel peaceful to take my time. Next, if you're still listening, I'll tell you all about my last walk through the living room, making sure every pillow was fluffed and every snack was in its place, just to get ready for the party. But for now, I hope you're feeling calm and a little sleepy. Honey? If you're still with me, this is the very last part of my party planning story. I saved the slowest part for last, because I wanted to make sure you were really ready to rest. This is where I walk around the house and check every little thing, just to be sure everything is as perfect and peaceful as it can be for Auntie Linda's special day. I know, it's not exciting, but sometimes the most boring things are the nicest, especially when you're winding down for sleep. So, after the card was finished and the party favors were stacked up in their little basket, I took a deep breath and stood in the hallway. I looked at the living room as if I was a guest coming in for the first time. The sun was low, making everything look soft and quiet. I started with the rug right by the door. I bent down and smoothed the corners. One side always curls up a little, so I pressed it down and whispered, "Stay flat, please." I straightened the shoes by the door, making sure none of them would be in the way. Next, I moved to the coat rack. I counted the empty hangers out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, trying to imagine if there would be enough for everyone's coats. I remembered last year, Uncle Jim brought 2 coats because he said, "You never know with this weather." I left a little extra space, just in case someone else does the same. Then I walked to the couch. I fluffed every pillow, one at a time. The blue pillow needed a little more fluff, so I gave it a gentle shake and patted it until it looked just right. The yellow pillow with the tassels had a tiny thread sticking out, so I found my little scissors and snipped it, then tucked the pillow into the corner. I lined the pillows up so they looked soft and inviting. Not too perfect, but not messy. I whispered, "Comfy and cozy," to myself as I did it. I turned to the coffee table next. I wiped the top with a soft cloth, making slow little circles until it looked shiny and clean. I set out the stack of party napkins, yellow on top, pink underneath, just like I planned. I placed the plates in a neat pile and put the cups right next to them. I set the party favors in the basket, and then I stopped to count them all again, just to be sure. I whispered, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 12. Enough for everyone. I checked the snack table, too. I arranged the cheese cubes on a white plate, with the crackers in a neat row. I put the grapes in a small bowl, and made sure there were extra toothpicks for anyone who wanted them. I even lined up the cookies in a circle, just because it made me smile. I checked the drinks, lemonade in a big pitcher, iced tea in a smaller one, and a stack of clean glasses right next to them. I looked at everything from different angles, making sure it would be easy to reach but not too crowded. I walked over to the bookshelf and dusted the top shelf, even though I knew no one would see it. I placed the card for Auntie Linda right in front, so she would see it as soon as she came in. I put a little vase with a single yellow flower next to the card. I thought it looked cheerful, like a little bit of sunshine. Then I stood back and looked around the whole room. The pillows were fluffed, the table was set, the snacks were ready, and the decorations were just right. I even checked the music, turning on the soft playlist I made, and set the volume low, so it would be gentle in the background. I closed my eyes for a moment and listened to the music, picturing everyone sitting together, laughing and talking softly. I imagined Auntie Linda smiling, holding her card and a cup of tea. I started thinking about the guest list. It's not really a list yet, more like names floating gently in my head. Her neighbor Carol will probably come. Carol always comes early. Too early, but she brings fruit, which is nice. Cousin Mark might say he's coming, and then text an hour later saying he's running behind, which usually means he's not coming. That's okay. Aunt Linda won't be surprised. I don't think we should invite too many people. She likes recognizing every face in the room. It makes her feel settled. I wondered if we should play music. Maybe just one playlist. Soft old songs. The kind that sound like they've already been playing for years. I tested one earlier. I listened to half a song and decided it was fine. That felt like enough research. I sat on the couch after that and didn't move for a while, just thinking about chairs. Making sure there are enough chairs. Chairs are important. People get uncomfortable without chairs. I think we'll be okay. I realized something gentle today. The party doesn't have to be perfect. Aunt Linda doesn't want perfect. She just wants to feel remembered. Even if the cake leans a little, even if the banner droops on one side, even if someone forgets the candles, she'll smile anyway. She always does that small smile where her eyes do most of the work. I think we'll sit her down, give her a plate, and let her talk about work stories she's already told before. And we'll listen like it's the first time. That's probably the nicest part. I like thinking about that. It feels warm. I went into the kitchen one last time to check the fridge. I opened the door slowly, making sure the lemonade and the fruit were there, and that everything was ready to go. I checked the freezer for an extra bag of ice, just in case. I laid out the tea bags on the counter, so I wouldn't have to look for them during the party. The last thing I did was turn off all the bright lights, and turn on the small lamp in the corner. The one that makes the whole room look warm and soft. I took a slow walk around the room, touching the back of each chair, making sure nothing was wobbly. I looked at the clock and smiled, knowing everything was ready. I stood in the doorway for a moment, taking a deep breath, feeling calm and happy that all the boring little things were done. I whispered, "All ready?" and let myself relax for the first time all day. And now, honey, that's the end of my very long, very quiet story about getting ready for Auntie Linda's party. I hope it helped you slow down. I hope you're feeling peaceful and sleepy. Just before I turn out the light, I want to check one last thing. Honey? Honey, are you still awake? Good night. I love you.